have a break, so go ahead.
I guess my only question is, if you become governor, will you take Illinois out of the popular vote interstate compact?
I'm not sure. What was? I didn't understand the question.
Alex, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Very recently, once Spanberg in Virginia became the governor, one of the first things she did was put Virginia in this coalition called the Popular Vote Interstate Compact. I know Illinois was added onto it about 10 years ago. So the main objective it would be if the popular vote didn't match the electoral college vote, all the electors of all the states in the compact would decide with whoever wins the popular vote. If you become the governor, would you pull Illinois out of it?
Yeah, we definitely want to preserve the electoral college. We don't want to have a country that's determining everything by the votes of Chicago and New York City and a few places. So yeah, absolutely, we protect the electoral college.
Then I have one more question that comes in, and it would probably deal temporarily with executive and have to be moved through the legislature to be permanent. What would you do in reference to the voter ID? Like, I know we're waiting on Thune to do something with it and so on and so forth on the federal level, but what do you think you could do on the state level to really impose that to make a big difference in that alone?
Well, I saw, I don't know if you guys saw, I'm just running around on the internet and I didn't get to check it in detail, but what it showed was that, so much of the country supports voter ID. And it was, whites, blacks, Latinos, I think everybody over 75%. It's a common sense thing. It's a no-brainer. It's just one of those things where we have to just lobby the heck out of it and make that common sense persuadable argument to the legislature. Of course, it'll probably be opposed by those who don't want to see cleaner elections. I mean, this is clearly a thing that gets you to cleaner elections and less fraud. And I would imagine that Republicans are all going to support it, and Democrats are sadly going to oppose it. So it just becomes again a big exposure campaign and a big fight campaign, and we try to figure out how to do it from an executive perspective. I would imagine that the courts will step in and all that, and it's just one of the many battles we have to have. But I still like to think that the moral case is on our side and all that, and eventually we could win these arguments. But by the way, I think everything, nothing I think is easy. I think my governorship the first 4 years really is another 4-year campaign, trying to persuade people to join us and trying to persuade people to kick out many of the Democrats in the legislature who won't support reform. So it's really, this is all an 8-year work. The next 4 years have to be a campaign and see if we can, regain some of the power in the state house so that we can then pass some of these laws, because everything we talk about is we know is going to be hard work. And that's the reality.
As you just said, 8-year work, that's a very realistic way of looking at it, because far too many will see, we'll use Trump's election just for the sake of conversation. By the midterms, everyone's disappointed by all the things he hasn't done, but don't focus on the things he has done. And far too many people don't understand, or they do and just choose to ignore it when it comes time to whine, how slow government gears move, unfortunately. So the idea that this isn't a one-term thing, or hopefully even a 2-term thing, it's a long-term thing that has to be regularly maintained, just as any other fine moving engine. You have to regularly fight for it. You have to regularly hold off the assaults from the leftists and just fight for the Constitution and the people of the state. And with that, I feel like you have a great ground game going forward. Real quick, before we let you go, 5 more minutes. Christian, do you have... someone just requested. Bear with me. David, okay. All right, and David... Before we let him go, I'll let you be the final question before we let him bow out.
letting me go. Kyle?
Hello.
Oh.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me, Kyle?
David, then Christian. Go ahead.
Oh, you can hear me? Okay, I'm in my car, so I'm navigating through technology. Hey, Ted, good to hear from you.
Hello.
Yes, can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Okay, great. So a couple questions. What do you think you're doing in your campaign differently than your opponents to mobilize voters to come on over? Soft Dems, independents, never Trumpers, people that don't register, they hate both sides, and Republicans to show out in big force. What do you think are some of the things that you're doing? Like I said, that you're seeing are really hot items that are motivating them to want to come over to the Dabrowski camp. And then the second question is, I've talked about this, the 8-5 strategy, and we know that the Democrats have a supermajority and we need 8 more state reps, Republicans, and 5 more state senators. Is that something that you would add on to your campaign to show leadership? Because I believe a lot of the voters are looking for somebody to lead us out of this nightmare.
Well, I certainly, one of the things that excited me, and the sad part is we got to go through primaries. So you asked about, trying to get independence and all that. Here, let me think about the order I want to answer this. All right, so let me tell you first of all what I'm doing, and it's been fun, and I mentioned it earlier, but first of all, we have a primary, and we know who votes in primaries. We pretty much know exactly who votes in primaries because we'll get the people who voted 3 out of the last 3 times. They'll be back. We'll get 725,000 votes. Some of them who voted 2 out of the last 3. So and we know who they are, and they're pretty conservative. From everything I see when I travel across the state, the primary is a conservative vote. So it's hard to think about getting too many independents and others who are not regular voters coming out. It's certainly with the limited money that we have in the campaigns right now in this primary, we're not going to get a whole slew of new voters. So that would be, I think. I think the whole goal for us in the primaries, get those who vote out to vote for us. Now, that said, I also want to make sure that people understand I'm running a campaign that can win the general. And that's why I've been going to speak to the Hispanics. If you guys go to here on X, you'll see, I've been speaking to the evangelical churches. I did a radio interview with the evangelical Hispanic churches, but not just them, the Filipinos, the Romanians, the Syrians. As I mentioned before, there's a whole group of people hungry for change, and they're looking for somebody who understands, I guess, the ethnic, the kind of the immigrant, that desire for the true conservative values that they came here for, and they fled. The Assyrians fled. They fled their persecution, and same thing for the Romanians and many others. They want to get back to freedom that they came here for. So that's been fun. I was with Willie Wilson the other day. We did a Facebook Live. So I've been talking to Willie and trying to make sure that we understand the Black community and their needs, and certainly they're upset about the illegal immigration. And so. I think that what's interesting is really building that coalition that's different, and so that's that. Your second point, I lost it.
Yeah, the 8-5 strategy. So 8 more state reps. Republicans.
Yeah, I'm excited for that, and certainly getting through the primary. Sure. I think that my work that I've done at WirePoints is exactly that. It's showing the path for how we message. Right, it's always been a data-centric, reasonable, logical, persuading message with a moral case behind it. And so, I would love to help everybody up and down the ballot if I can. I mean, that's I think what I bring to the table more than